Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee and Conversations English, the podcast where we sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and have a real, natural English conversation just for you.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Avery, and today we are talking about something that every single person who has ever worked anywhere has experienced.
Difficult people at work.
Yes, the colleague who interrupts you every time you speak. The person who criticizes everything you do. The coworker who smiles at you in a meeting and then complains about you behind your back.
We all know these people, and dealing with them in your first language is already hard enough.
But dealing with them in English as a second language when you are trying to stay professional, stay calm, and still make your point?
That is a whole different level of challenge.
So today we are going to give you the exact phrases you need, the power phrases, the de-escalation language, the calm, professional, confident English that handles difficult people without making things worse.
And we are going to show you the wrong way and the right way to handle each situation, because sometimes knowing what not to say is just as important as knowing what to say.
So pour yourself a coffee.
Pull up a chair and let's get into it.
Okay, so before we get into the phrases, let's talk about the three most common types of difficult people you will encounter in an English-speaking workplace, because different personalities need different responses.
And once you can identify which type you are dealing with, choosing the right phrase becomes so much easier.
Exactly. So type number 1, the interrupter.
Oh, everyone knows the interrupter.
The interrupter is the person in every meeting who cannot wait for you to finish your sentence. You start speaking and within 5 seconds.
Actually, what I think we should do is...
Right in the middle of your point. Gone. And the frustrating thing about the interrupter is that they often do not even realize they're doing it. Sometimes it is a habit, sometimes it is enthusiasm, sometimes it is just a personality style.
But whatever the reason, being interrupted constantly makes you feel invisible, like your words do not matter.
Type number 2, the constant critic.
This is the colleague who has something negative to say about every idea, every suggestion, every piece of work you produce.
You present a new idea in a meeting, and before you have even finished explaining it, that is not going to work. We tried something like that before. I do not think management will approve that.
And the tricky thing about the constant critic is that sometimes their feedback is actually useful, but the way they deliver it, without any warmth, without any acknowledgement of what is good first, makes it feel like a personal attack.
Number 3, the passive-aggressive colleague.
This one is the most complicated, because on the surface, they seem perfectly pleasant.
They smile. They say, sure, no problem. But then the work does not get done, or you hear from someone else that they have been complaining about you, or they send an email that is technically polite but somehow makes you feel terrible.
Passive-aggressive behavior is indirect. It is conflict that is never said out loud. And it can be the hardest type to address because there's nothing obvious to point to.
Okay, so we have the interrupter, the constant critic, and the passive-aggressive colleague. Now, let's talk about the most important thing before we get into specific phrases.
The Stay Calm Toolkit.
The single most important thing you can do when dealing with a difficult person at work is stay calm. Because the moment you react emotionally, you lose the professional high ground.
And in English, staying calm is not just about your tone of voice. It is about having the right words ready so you do not freeze, say something you regret, or go completely silent when you need to speak up.
So here is your Stay Calm Toolkit. 5 power phrases that work in almost any difficult workplace situation.
I appreciate your perspective. Let me share mine.
I appreciate your perspective. Let me share mine.
Now, let's talk about why this phrase is so powerful. The first part, I appreciate your perspective, does something very clever. It acknowledges the other person without agreeing with them. You are not saying they are right, you are saying you heard them.
And then the second part, let me share mine, is firm but polite. It is not asking permission, it is stating that you're going to speak, and that is almost impossible to argue with gracefully.
I see where you are coming from, but...
I see where you're coming from, but...
This is one of the most natural and useful idioms in professional English. I see where you are coming from means I understand your point of view. Your reasoning makes sense to me, but...
And that but is where you introduce your own perspective calmly and confidently. I see where you're coming from, but I think we should consider a different approach. I see where you're coming from, but the data suggests something different.
It validates, and then it redirects, all in one smooth sentence.
Let's agree to disagree.
Let's agree to disagree. This is a classic English idiom, and it is absolutely essential for the workplace.
It means we have both said our points. Neither of us is going to change the other's mind right now, and that is okay. We can move forward without resolving this disagreement completely.
It is a peaceful exit from a conversation that is going in circles, and it is much more professional than either giving up completely or continuing an argument that is getting nowhere.
I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Are you saying that...
This phrase is brilliant for passive-aggressive situations because it takes something that was hinted at indirectly and brings it into the open.
For example, a colleague sends you a message that says, I guess we just have different standards. Instead of ignoring it or getting upset, you respond with, I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Are you saying that you have a concern about the quality of my work? I am happy to discuss it directly.
Now they have to either admit what they really meant or back down. Either way, you have handled it professionally and clearly.
Can we find a moment to talk about this privately?
This is your go-to phrase when a situation is getting tense in front of other people, in a meeting, in a shared workspace, anywhere public.
It does several things at once. It removes the audience, which reduces the pressure on everyone. It signals that you want to resolve this, not escalate it. And it is so calm and reasonable that it is very hard for the other person to say no.
Let's recap all 5 power phrases.
I appreciate your perspective. Let me share mine.
I see where you are coming from, but...
Let's agree to disagree.
I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Are you saying that?
Can we find a moment to talk about this privately?
Write those down. Say them out loud. Practice them until they feel natural, because in a tense moment, you need these words to be automatic.
Okay, now we are going to do something really useful. We're going to role-play 3 scenarios. Each one involves a different type of difficult colleague. And we will show you the wrong way to respond, and then the right way.
And when we say the wrong way, we do not mean rude or terrible. We mean the response that most people actually give when they are stressed and caught off guard. The response that feels natural in the moment, but does not serve you professionally.
Ready?
Ready.
Scenario 1. The interrupter. I am in a meeting presenting an idea. Laura is the interrupter.
Avery, I just want to jump in here because I think we should actually consider a completely different direction for this project.
You always do this. You never let me finish.
And now everyone in the meeting is uncomfortable. The interrupter gets defensive, and the original idea never gets heard.
I would love to hear your thoughts. Can I just finish my point first? And continue speaking clearly and calmly.
Hear the difference? The right way responds acknowledges the interrupter. It is polite, but it is also firm. Can I just finish my point first? And then you continue. You do not stop and wait.
I have just shared a new proposal in a team meeting.
Okay, so I have to be honest. I just do not think this is going to work. We tried something similar 2 years ago and it failed completely. I do not see why this time would be any different.
Well, maybe if people had actually supported the last idea, it would have worked.
Now we have a conflict. The room is tense. Nothing is moving forward.
That is a fair point about the last initiative. I would love to understand what went wrong then so we can make sure this approach is different. What specifically do you think we need to address?
Did you notice what happened there? Instead of defending the idea, the right way response invited the critic to be part of the solution. What specifically do you think we need to address? Now their critical energy is being used constructively.
That is a very advanced professional move, and it is incredibly effective.
Scenario 3. The passive-aggressive colleague. Avery sends me a project and I respond. Oh, wow. Interesting approach. I guess this works for some people.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Many people choose this option, and it feels safer in the moment. But the passive-aggressive behavior continues, and the resentment builds on both sides.
I notice your message, and I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Do you have specific feedback on the project? I am genuinely happy to hear it if there is something you think could be improved.
Now, the passive-aggressive colleague has to make a choice. Either give actual direct feedback or realize that their indirect approach is not going to work with you.
And notice the phrase, I am genuinely happy to hear it. That phrase is warm. It is not confrontational, but it is also a clear signal that you are open to direct communication and not going to engage with indirect hints.
Let's recap our role-play lessons.
I would love to hear your thoughts. Can I just finish my point first?
That is a fair point. What specifically do you think we need to address?
For the passive-aggressive colleague, I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Do you have specific feedback?
Okay, let's bring everything together. Today, we covered how to deal with difficult people at work in English in 3 parts.
Part 1. The 3 types of difficult colleagues: the interrupter, the constant critic, and the passive-aggressive colleague. Knowing which type you are dealing with helps you choose the right response.
Part 2, your Stay Calm Toolkit. 5 power phrases that work in almost any difficult situation. I appreciate your perspective. Let me share mine. I see where you are coming from, but let's agree to disagree. I want to make sure I understand you correctly, and can we find a moment to talk about this privately?
Part 3. The wrong way versus the right way. Reacting emotionally might feel good for 1 second, but calm, direct, professional English always serves you better in the long run.
And the most important takeaway from today.
You do not have to be aggressive to be heard, and you do not have to be silent to be polite. Professional English gives you a middle path: clear, calm, confident.
And that middle path is where real respect is earned.
Here is your challenge for today. Think of a difficult situation you have faced at work or in an English-speaking environment. Go to the comments and describe it. We will help you find the exact right phrase to use. We read every single comment.
We really do, and we would love to help you navigate it.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode.
And share this with a friend who has a difficult colleague, because everyone deserves to feel confident and calm at work.
Until next time.
Pull up a chair and let's talk English.